What is up, everybody? It is your local Ottawa fan, and I am here today to talk about a topic that is really important to me. The Ottawa Charge and Landsdowne 2.0. Firstly, don't like it. Shocker, I know. Secondly, I really want to make this video for a bunch of reasons. Number one, if you are in Ottawa, email your councillor. Protest, speak up, make it known. If you don't want this, you won't support it, that your councillors are responsible for their constituents. And if they don't represent your views, they don't reflect it in the way that they vote, well, then you will reflect it with yours. So, yeah, I mean, I messaged my councillor, and I encourage everyone to do so. Number two, I want to say I 100% support a bigger arena for the Charge. I think that that should be a high priority. But I also think that I am uniquely qualified to discuss this topic as both a citizen of Ottawa and a diehard Ottawa Charge fan. There are a lot of issues, and I want to try to look at this from a good faith perspective. I want to take some of the arguments against building a larger arena. For those of you who don't know what Landsdowne 2.0 is, the current arena that the Ottawa Charge play in is quite old, and it's not suitable long term. We do need a new arena. There's not really much of an argument there, but the matter is how. The new arena is going to be about 3,000 seats smaller than it currently is, which for the other two teams that would occupy this arena, the Ottawa 67s and the Ottawa Blackjacks, that's not much of an issue. If anything, that will make it better for them, because they don't draw 8,500 fans to games at the same rate that the Charge do. The Charge are the second biggest draw to TD, after only the Red Blacks, a football team with a football stadium that, if you look at in terms of capacity, the Charge are like the biggest draw. In terms of how many tickets they sell to how many tickets they have available, though the Red Blacks, now I've got some Red Blacks news that I'm going to have to talk about later, because they did just make a huge big splash hiring, which might change things, in terms of Ottawa Red Blacks fan attendance. But they were I think they were 8th in the league this year out of 9 teams. They were not good, like by any stretch of the imagination. The Charge, they are doing fantastic in terms of fan attendance. Fantastic. And cutting 3,000 seats, going to a max capacity with standing room of only 6,600 is terrible and leaves no room for growth. We will sell out every single game, which on paper might be like, looks like a good thing. Oh, wow, this team's going to sell out every game. The Coyotes, they sold out every game their last few seasons because the arena was just too small. And actually, that is another thing I want to talk about, the Arizona Coyotes. Okay, what I'm going to say is going to sound bad, but I promise you it's good. It reminds me a little bit of that situation. I know you're thinking, oh my goodness, Jerry, don't say that. Don't say that you're a local Ottawa fan. But I say that because the Coyotes didn't leave after one thing didn't happen. They left after multiple things failed. They didn't renew their lease. They couldn't get a new arena. The only arena they were in was a college arena that was not NHL, acceptable. Less than 5,000 fans. It was a series of things. If they moved to a college arena that housed 15, 16, 17,000 fans, good chance they'd still be in Arizona. If a new arena deal was met, they would still be in Arizona. If the lease on their old arena got extended, they decided to stay a little longer, If any of those things had happened, there is a very good chance that they would still be playing hockey at the NHL level in Arizona. A series of things had to fail. So I see a lot of alarmists, doomers, saying that Ottawa is going to relocate. What are we talking about? How do we get from a bump in the road to full-blown relocation, bye-bye, see ya, get out of the center of the PWHL? Like, hello, best fans in the league, right? Right. We are in a great spot in terms of this is the problem you want to have, right? We have too many fans. Our arena isn't big enough. That is a good problem to have. Because there are other teams in this league who have the opposite problem. Their arenas are not small enough. They don't have enough fans. Like, I'm sorry. Okay, I need to preface this. This is very, 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 very important for me to say. No team should relocate. Right now in the PWHL, the relocation it shouldn't be thrown around at all. Point blank. Unless something really, really bad happens, we shouldn't even be discussing it. New York, Boston. If you look at New York's highest attended game last season, 47-67. That is lower than our worst attended game all season. If you look at the 60-32 max fans at Boston, I'm talking about their main home arenas, the arenas where they played most of their home games. Prudential Center for 13 games last season, Songa Center for 11 for Boston. They, again, maxed out at 6,032. So for both of those teams, the new planned arena would actually suit them perfectly. Like, perfectly. 5,500 fans seated, 6,600 at max capacity. Our worst attended game was a little over 5,000 fans. So yeah, the Charge would 100% sell out every single game in terms of seating room. Every game would be a sellout, which, yeah, it looks good. Now, of course, tickets would go up because we can sell 8,500 seats. Every weekend we did. Every Saturday game we did. We have 6 Saturday games this year. Every single one of them is probably going to be a sellout. So when you are losing 3,000 seats, that's going to make the cost of seats skyrocket. They're going to become way more expensive, especially for weekend games. That's not good. That's not good for the fans. I mean, you know, council wants to talk about how, the PWHL needs to chip in. And look, fair enough, but, who's going to pay for it? It's going to be us. It's going to be the fans. It's going to be your constituents who are going to end up footing the cost of the bill, who are going to end up losing out because of this. But the idea that we're going to relocate because our arena is too small when it is a more than suitable arena for at least 2 other teams in this league is absurd. Because if you're going to say that 6,600 fans is not enough and you need to relocate if you only have 6,600 fans, well, then we will be the 3rd team to relocate. And I'm sorry, but if 3 of your original 6 teams relocate, that ain't going to be good for investors. That's not going to be a good look. That would look terrible. If your most passionate, loyal, diehard fan base has their team relocate, that is going to look awful. And it will make it a lot harder for the league to be profitable. It'll be a lot harder for owners, like actual owners of the teams, when the teams go for sale, to want to buy. Because maybe the team will have to move in 2 years. Right? The best fans in the league had their team ripped from them. So I want to quiet the relocation talk. For all the teams. Not going to happen for New York. Not going to happen for Boston. Not going to happen for Ottawa. Not until a bunch of other issues come up first then that happens. It's the classic anything's on the table. Another thing it reminded me of is the Melnick anything's on the table. Which, bad line, horrible. But also, like, it wasn't if not enough fans show up right now this season, we're gone. It was, if there is a chronic, repeated issue, then other things would have to be considered. Because, yeah, there are reasons why Ottawa might relocate. Reason number one, or things that would happen. Number one is there's no other arena in sight. And Landsdowne 2.0 passes as is, which would be terrible. I'm going to be protesting it. I'm going to be fighting it. I'm going to be talking to my counselor about why I do not like this plan. And if it passes and my counselor votes in favor, you can be sure in the 2026 municipal election, I'll be first in line at that voting booth, and that will be one of the things that will help decide my vote. I won't be a one issue voter, but believe me, there are going to be, I mean, Landsdowne 2.0 passing, I could certainly see it leading to other candidates wanting to run. Other candidates who I'm sure I would hold closer views than the councillor who passes it. But number one, we would need no other new arena in sight that is suitable for like the foreseeable future. Number two, we would either need to see other teams with lower fan attendance relocate, or we would have to be the lowest or close to the lowest in terms of fan attendance. Both of those things would probably need to be true. Now, that would be my bigger fear, that number two would be possible, that the Prudential Center can hold up to 16,000 fans. Now, yeah, not great that New York never hit 6,000, let alone 16,000, but they could. They could. Maybe, now that they've got back-to-back first overall picks, New York turns things around next year. And they get a bunch of fans, and next thing you know, they pull way ahead of us in terms of fans per game, in terms of their maximum attendance. Maybe Boston does the same. And both teams are getting 7,000, 8,000 fans per game. Every team in the league is getting 7,000, 8,000 fans per game. And then there's Ottawa, who can't get above 6,600 because they do not have a facility that is able to do that. Then we would get to the next phase of, okay, what do we do? But here's the other thing. There are options. Now, I want to talk about the options that, aren't feasible, why they aren't feasible, and why I think there are some workarounds. Option number one is the Canadian Tire Center. It's not feasible because it's not a centralized location. And this is where I kind of need to do, sadly, I need to play devil's advocate. If there's one thing where I can say, you know what, they kind of have a point. Let's be honest, there's no guarantee that the Charge are going to stay in TD. None. And if I were an investor or if I were on council and I were to be told, hey, there's a sports team and they want to be in the conversation for the new arena, I'd say, okay, fair enough. How long are they going to be in that new arena? For 4 years. Oh, okay. And then what? Let's be honest with ourselves. And then probably LeBreton Flats. Because by 2030, LeBreton Flats should be ready. And it will be in a central location, state-of-the-art arena. That should be where the Charge play. They deserve to play there. The Frost, they share an NHL arena with an NHL team. Why can't the Charge do the same? It sounds like a good idea. And I understand only wanting to build an arena that will hold a PWHL capacity team if you have long-term commitment. Because I get it. That would be, it would be a waste of money. It would be a waste of taxpayer dollars to build a 9,000 seat arena if 9,000 fans are only going to show up for 3 years before the team moves to another arena. That would be a waste of taxpayer dollars. But this is where there's kind of a catch-22. If you want the PWHL to invest in us, you have to invest in them. It goes both ways. And to be quite frank, I felt that the council did not engage in good faith with the PWHL. Like, they'd already made up their minds. And they initially planned for the PWHL to not be as popular as it was. And they told the PWHL, hey, you get to be in talks with us when we want to build our new arena. And the PWHL explodes in popularity in Ottawa, because it's one of the most popular teams in the city. And all of a sudden, they get shut out from the conversation because, let's be honest, it seems like the plan was that they'd, get about 5,000 fans a game, nothing too crazy, and they would just be satisfied with the new TD Arena. Now they say, oh, well, you still average out to, a little over 6,000? Which, again, our lowest attended game was over 5,000. And, TD Arena, if I'm being honest, Landsdowne 2.0 is a great arena for the charge in the middle of the week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, fine. I'd even say Monday. Those days, excluding holidays, I would say understandable. The charge playing a Wednesday night game at Landsdowne 2.0, they would probably sell it out, but let's be honest with ourselves, they're not going to sell 8,500 tickets every Wednesday. Unless it's the playoffs. And that's where I need to posit there are solutions. I think the easiest solution is have a few less weekend games than we do before, but have our weekend games be at the Canadian Tire Centre. It isn't the best solution. Don't get me wrong. It's not. But if we have 4 to 5 CTC games, about one a month, November, December, January, February, maybe February will still happen, March, and they play in April. So once a month, if you have one Canadian Tire Centre game a month, maybe the novelty would never wear off, and maybe you could recoup some of the losses because you would have a higher capacity. The Canadian Tire Centre game that happened last season had 11,000 fans. 11. And that was with no time in terms of advance notice, barely any advertising. If it was known, hey, there's going to be 5 and exactly 5 charge games at an NHL arena, the Canadian Tire Centre, and it's not every game, and it's not going to be on the weekday. No, it's going to be on the weekend, Saturday night, Saturday afternoon, Sunday matinee, come on down, 5 times, that's it. I think we could still get 8,500 fans to those games. I think we could get more. And then I think the other games during the week would, yes, technically be the average that they would otherwise get until LeBreton Flats is built. And like I said, I do think that should be the end goal. I think the PWHL is popular enough in Ottawa that they should be playing in LeBreton. But again, that's the kind of communication that you should have with the league. I think what upsets me the most is the lack of respect, the lack of good faith argument that they were willing to partake in. And the fact that, look, I'm going to say it, this would never happen to a men's league. The way that they were treated, the way that it was just kind of brushed aside. This team is legitimately popular. And while I can understand the argument of, well, we don't want an American billionaire dictating, was there then not a suggestion? Go a step further with that logic. Say, hey, can you help us invest? Or, look, if the PWHL isn't profitable right now, can we get a long-term deal with you? We make the arena bigger, you give us a guaranteed lease for X amount of time, and then you invest in the upkeep of the arena once the league is profitable. I believe the hope is by 2032. So what, 7 years? something other than just no. Oh, but you said we'd get to be in talk. No, we're going to do 5,000. Sorry, that is ludicrous. The plan doesn't work on a variety of. Also, they're getting rid of the roof on the north side stands. Like, even for Red Blacks fans, this is terrible. Like, for everyone except OSEG, this kind of doesn't benefit us. As a citizen of Ottawa, look, if you're going to spend taxpayer money on building a new arena, on renovating Landsdowne, at least do it right. At least build it with that in mind. And also, hey, look, yeah, sure, maybe for the Blackjacks or the 67s, it's beneficial, and for the Chargers isn't. I saw Foreigner at TD not that long ago. Popular band. Yeah. Not really going to have nearly as many concerts at a 5,000 seat capacity venue, are we? Sure, you can have them at TD Place outside during like the spring, summer, and fall, but like from December until March, like, that's inoperable as an outdoor venue for a concert. It's not going to happen. Let's not forget how this is going to affect all the other festivals that happen at Landsdowne. It is short-sighted. And for a growing league and a team that is growing in popularity, this kneecaps their popularity. You can't put them in the CTC because it's not central. But again, that is something that the PWHL specifically pointed to. The reason why the CTC doesn't work has nothing to do with the state of the arena. It has nothing to do with the size of the arena. It has everything to do with the location of the arena. I think we all are under the understanding that if the CTC were in a centralized location, that would be the optimal arena for the Charge. And the Ottawa Senators have the exact same problem, and they're already in the process of fixing said problem and building a new NHL arena in a centralized location. Like, if you ask me, the solution is play in LeBreton Flats when it's ready. You get another full season in the current TD arena, and then we'll have the 26-27, 28-29 season. The goal is that LeBreton will be ready by 2030. So 2 to 3 seasons, it's Ottawa. Let's call it 4 seasons of suboptimal arena play. Is that doable? Maybe a season or 2, yeah, in the TD arena. Maybe a season or 2 splitting between the Canadian Tire Center and TD. Is it optimal? No. Is it worth relocating the most popular team in the league? No. Both things can be true. It can both be true that the council treated the PWHL with complete and utter disrespect, and that relocation is absurd. And the other thing is that PWHL didn't really say that. I see so much of this. I see so much of this is an existential crisis for Ottawa. The team is going to move. The team is going to die. Oh my good. Like, I don't think it's an existential crisis. Yet. That's a big word, yet. If it's announced that LeBreton Flats is going to take way longer than expected, it won't be ready by 2030. We're looking more at like 33, 34. Okay, then I'm concerned. If LeBreton Flats is built, and there's no sign that the Chargers are going to get to go there. Okay, then I'm concerned. If the ticket prices go way up to a point that it is like $100 to go to a game for the Charge, then I'm concerned. But right now, I'm upset. I'm upset with how the PWHL was treated. I'm upset with the fact that when it's a women's sports team that's successful and it's a women's sports team that needs a bigger arena, we hear crickets. But let's not panic. And I'm going to give you my worst case scenario. My worst case scenario is this. If the team truly cannot play in TD Arena for a few seasons before LeBreton Flats is built and needs to relocate to Gatineau. The Slush Puppy Center is right there. It is 100% PWHL capacity. It is a brand new arena. It is fine. Do not move to Quebec City. Do not move to Halifax or Hamilton or any other city. Not Edmonton, not Calgary. Don't move there. Expand there. We can discuss expansion later. If the Charge need to relocate, do the kind of relocation where it's a soft relocation, where there's still the Ottawa Charge, but they actually play in Gatineau technically. There are options. Like, teams do. The New York Sirens don't play in New York State. So maybe the Ottawa Charge don't need to play even in the province of Ontario for a season or two. Play in Gatineau. Cross the border, go to Slush Puppy Center. It's centralized for Gatineau. The Olympics, they do fine. And it would be a great way to get the outreach for the French Canadian, the Francophone fans. Which, by the way, I've always talked about how the Charge being an Original Six team is really, really good because, now Ottawa gets to actually prove that they're that much of a hockey town. A good way of re-solidifying that would be, if we had a few, and just in general, I think the Charge should play like 2 to 3 games in Gatineau between now and when LeBreton Flats is complete, just for the sake of, that'd be a really good way of solidifying the Charge as like the Gatineau team. That is like, if you're from Gatineau, you're a Charge fan. Like, oh, do you cheer for the Victor? No, I don't cheer for the Victor. I cheer for the Charge. What are you talking about? So, email your councillor if you're from Ottawa. If you're not from Ottawa, well, there's still other ways you can support it. Online, general buzz. Oppose this. And also, don't panic. Because we're not there yet. The team's not going to move next season. Like, to those that think we're going to be in Quebec City next season, no, we're not. That's all. We ain't going anywhere. And also, I am still pissed at the Ottawa Council, the Ottawa City Council, for the way the PWHL was treated. They're going to hear from me. I hope they're going to hear from you. And I just want to do a quick shout out to Hockey Girl 365. Thank you for talking about this a lot. Like, I'm trying to think of a word, because the word isn't ad nauseum, because it's not ad nauseum, because it needs to be talked about this much. This is going to be one of my longer videos for a reason, because this is important. This is the future of the league. This team deserves a bigger, better stadium. And this city deserves a team. And you can have some corrupt politicians who vote against this, but the heart and soul, the citizens, the fans of Ottawa, we are the ones who show up to those games, okay? We're the ones who are showing up dressed like this and this. We're the ones who cannot wait to get that sweet, sweet away Emily Clark jersey. We're the ones. And we deserve a team, okay? And we're going to make it known. Okay, this is not going to be some team that ships out at the first sign of troubled waters. It's Ottawa. We are a hockey town. Like it or not. No matter what any Leafs or Habs fans tell you, Ottawa is a hockey town. Don't believe me? Go to a Charge game against the Scepters or against the Victoire and see how loud the Toronto and Montreal chants are. Because I can tell you, you can barely hear them. Oh, I was there for game 4 against Montreal. when we sent them packing, and it was close to the end. It was close to the end of the game. And it was close at the end of the game. And I saw a few Montreal fans leaving. Not a lot. And I heard no chance for Montreal. No, come on, you can do it, last gasp. I heard nothing but taunting from the Ottawa faithful. The 8,500 Ottawa faithful. We're the best fans in the league. We're not going to let some council take away our team, and we are not going to let anyone take away our team. Okay? Mark my words. Whether that means that we need to find our own solution. I've thought, there is another dark horse solution. Maybe we need a fan group that will act in the same vein as the Green Bay Packers. Rough Riders, Tiger Cats. Buy the team. But don't let OSAG buy the team. Let us. Because believe me, if it's the citizens of Ottawa who own that team, it will never leave. Ottawa deserves a team. Ottawa's not going to let their team go. And I don't care what any council members or what OSAG or anyone else has to say. And to everybody who I've seen online making it known, shouting it at the top of their lungs, I thank you. And I hear you. And I'm listening. And I hope that this is just another voice that will extend the message. And we all know what that message is. That message is, go, Ottawa, go. I love this team and I love this city.